some good jamming to get us back into things. It's been a second.
Absolutely.
Howdy. Welcome back to the Radical Wasteland podcast.
Yep. Welcome in, everybody. This is Greg the Ghoul here with
movie.
Harris, my human companion. We are back, baby. Been a minute. Harris, how you been, bud?
Tired. Very tired.
Yeah.
Still,
I feel like you're like
the
on
moving process is forever.
Oh yeah.
Much longer
Oh no. And you're on like you're on the channel here like all the time, like all day, every day. It feels like, you know. So
the last
God
week or
bless,
so
man.
has been a little lesser of so, but we've had, I think, company here since the second. Like every day of
Oh, wow.
one of us has had someone, and there's 4 of us, so there's been a lot of folk around, which has been fun.
That's crazy.
I don't usually say I'm tired of cooking, but I might be a little tired of cooking. You know.
Yeah. Well, your barbecue Insta chat has been blowing up my phone like nonstop lately. So you know.
Yeah, we might have had 2 in the last week and 1 more on Saturday. So oops.
There you go. Gotta love it, man. That's how you do it.
Speaking of my busy life, there's one person I know who probably had about 10 times as busy of a life in the last month or so. That would be you. How's that been?
Well, just a little bit. Well, thank you guys all for bearing with us while we took an inadvertent hiatus with the Hollywood Fringe Festival happening for the month of June. There was just simply no time to be able to put out a quality episode. So we decided to hold off for a little bit. So thank you all for your patience and coming back. It's good to see everybody here. The Stanleys, David, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming back and chilling with us. Fringe was a tremendously successful event for us, the Hollywood Fringe. We had Jen, my wife, and I hosted 48 shows between 6 different rooms across 3 different venues for the month of June. And I think we had like a 95% satisfaction rating with our clients. Everybody seemed to really have a great time. Everybody was really happy. We had, I want to say that we had, oh my God, like 64 award nominations across all of our productions, everybody that was renting with us. And we had 34 wins out of that. So, you know, including Top of the Fringe, we had the Top of the Fringe winner in our spaces. Now those guys, Addict Collective, they do incredible work, you know, so I'm not at all trying to take credit for these people's work. I'm just pointing out that we had a ton of incredible artists, just kind of giving a sense of the caliber of the people that were working with us. 33% of the award winners were in Stagecraft venues. So,
well, incredible venues beget incredible quality plays and such. Yeah, no.
I think we could safely say the game recognized game, and the folks that were serious about doing a really good Fringe show wound up. There were a lot of folks who were in our venues, and we were really excited to see that.
It was Ben that won Top of Fringe, correct,
right? It was and her children that won it.
Cool.
And that's the modern updating of Mother Courage and Her Children, where Mother Courage is speaker for works for the NRA as a spokesperson, and her kids are killed in a school shooting. I mean, really light fare here, you know. So yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly. So it's but it was really, really lovely and intense piece, and really incredible. And actually, just to touch on my other life for a moment before we delve into the really important shit why everybody's here, and that's all the Fallout news that we've got. We're now starting to tour shows around Southern California, well, specifically around LA County. And Her Children has been invited. They don't even know this yet officially. So you guys are getting a spoiler before the people who did the show even get to know this. But they've been invited to perform up at the Main up in Santa Clarita, which is a city-run space up there. So I'm going to talk to them. We're probably going to take it up there in January. And I'm working on lining up 6 or 7 other theaters around LA where we'll be touring shows. We actually have 7 different shows going to the Electric Lodge in Venice in 2 weeks. So that's going to be really crazy. We've got, my show, 3 Can Keep a Secret, is going to go down there for a 1 weekend run before we head to Scotland, which is another whole thing. And then we've got 6 other shows from our venues that we're taking down there for a 1 weekend run. And then we'll be bringing more shows around in September, and then November, and then January we should be in Santa Clarita. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we've got going every other month now where we'll be touring these around. And thank you for 3 Can Keep Secret is badass. I do love that show so much. And by the way, all of our UK fans, if you want to come and see me and meet me in person, you have the opportunity to do so, because I will be at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival from August 3rd to August 9th performing in Three Can Keep a Secret. So I hope you will come and check us out there. You can go to threecankeepasecretplay.com. I'll put it in the chat here.
Hey, if you put it in the private chat, I can also share it into our description as well.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, go there for all the details. We're going to be performing at the Space UK, the Space on the Mile, in the middle of the Royal Mile. The Space UK on the Mile is located inside the Radisson Hotel at the middle of the Royal Mile. So we'll be performing there August 3rd to August 9th. I'm going to be... I'll be across the pond visiting y'all from the 31st to the 10th. So we fly back like the morning of the 10th. So don't count on me for the 10th, but we'll be there for like a good 10-night stretch. And then I'll be back in LA after that. So we'll have to see if I could pull a podcast off from Jay's motherland here. So, you know, we'll have to give it a shot.
It'll be perfect.
Yeah. So, you know, and
it is down in the description.
And on top of that, oh, thank you so much. And on top of that, we will be. I'm now on the months that we're not doing the LA Freeway circuit. We're doing mini festivals in our venues, and the next one is going to be Mythic Fest, so sci-fi fantasy theater. And I'm working on. I think so. At one point, Harris, we have to do like a Fallout parody play or something like a 10-minute parody about Fallout. That might be a fun thing to throw in.
How much longer do we have to sign up? Because we saw that, and we may have actually put your entire video up about the Mythic.
Thank you so much.
Mythic Fest. I keep wanting to say Mythic Quest. Damn it, you're clever. But we
I mean, I'll take registrations.
And talked about it.
I'll take registrations all the way up until August 31st, and the festival runs the 21st to the 31st of August. So, you know, if people want to bring a show in at the last second, you're more than welcome to do so. But tickets do go on sale for Mythic Fest next week. So most folks, I'm recommending that they get all their stuff together now, you know?
Okay. And you said the 21st through 31st?
21st to 31st of August. You can get more info at mythicfestla.com.
Okay. That might put a little bit of a twinge in things, because I might be in Europe from the 8th through the 23rd.
Okay.
Back like the 5th or 26th.
I mean, if you get back and you still want to do something like a one weekend thing or whatever, we could arrange it.
Well, we have an idea.
You know.
We have kind of a general idea that we've come up with as SciTrek, which would be a Fallout New Vegas. David came up with it, and I believe it was Monk and Stanley's. Did you help out with it? A couple other people keep telling me to watch Searching, the John Cho movie, and I need to watch it. And they said that will inspire and help out a little bit of a Fallout New Vegas, just like have almost a poker game in New Vegas and just describe what's kind of going on. Just do a simple little thing. Maybe use some environmental storytelling. I don't know.
That could be fun. Yeah.
There's Monk. Hell yeah.
Thank you, Monk. Searching. You just did. All right. I will put that on my list of things to watch when I get to come up for air. As I was telling Harris, we had to move out of our main theater at the end of Fringe. I had to get out of. I had a week to get out of there. We got out of there over the July 4th weekend, and now we're building out the new space. It should be open by August 1st. I think it'll officially be able to take clients while I'm in Scotland. So that's pretty funny. I might not even be here for our first rentals in there. But my apartment right now is just chock full of boxes of new equipment that all need to go down there because the AC is busted. So we're not doing the build out at the moment. We got to wait a little longer because right now it's about 100 degrees in that room. Yep. So hopefully by today or Monday, the AC will be fixed so we can start building. But right now I'm surrounded by it's all cropped out of the camera, but I'm surrounded by piles of boxes at the moment. All this stuff that's got to go into our spaces. So you got all this crap here. It's just so much stuff. It's all got to get hauled down there. Never a dull moment.
We need a little Amazon Prime jingle because my brain really wanted to sing a little jingle after you turned around the camera towards the Prime boxes. But I'm surprised they don't have them.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they don't. When you're as ubiquitous as they are, I suppose you don't need one. You know, So,
like, according to Fallout and everything in Fallout, they need a jingle. All the big companies have jingles in Fallout, so I think everyone needs a jingle at this point.
Fair.
Well, you know what?
Well, anyway,
to look a little bit into what we're going to be talking about later, there's AI nowadays. Just make someone get a little jingle, because you know what?
No, there you
video
go.
game companies and AI conversation might come up at the tail
Or better,
end of this.
or better yet, hire a living human composer who can come up with something too. Like I know a few of these guys who could probably come up with something real good, real quick. So,
even better.
Help guys with that skill set who like AI takes inspiration from, and let the people eat. I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm not against,
because AI is here, but now because AI is here, they can do it easily, and they don't want to piss off fans. You might as well just hire the little guy. Let the little fish do it. Come on. Simple.
Absolutely. I think I think there's nothing wrong with using AI as a tool, but using AI as a replacement for human labor is where the line has got to, for creative human labor, the line's got to be drawn.
Particularly.
So, yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, let's dive in. We got a lot going on right now. Lots to talk about.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum,
I guess this is the fun one.
All right, yeah, let's start here.
Here we go.
Fallout 5 leaks confirmed what we all feared. Yes, this is definitely not great. I'm kind of wondering, Harris, do you feel like I do and feel like that this is just the biggest bungle, the biggest, drop bag, the biggest just drop ball of all time? I mean, they've got a franchise with a hit TV series. And while Elder Scrolls is important and is arguably the bigger of the two, or was the bigger of the two franchises, I do feel like that now with the TV show, Fallout is the bigger franchise of the two. And 5 should be fast-tracked. Because, 4 came out in 2014? Yeah.
So, I don't think about it like that. Yeah, 20, I don't think about it like that necessarily. I completely see why people do, but also Skyrim came out in 2011. That we're literally going to be 20 years away by the time it might come out, especially if Fallout 5 were to come first. I think the bigger mishap there is, Oblivion Remastered. Although I haven't played a whole bunch of it, the little bit I have played has been damn good, and it's been a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people are having a lot of fun with Oblivion Remaster. They know people are clamoring for some more Elder Scrolls. Of course.
Sure.
But if they were making a Fallout TV show and they were trying to remaster a game, start with Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. That should have been the first remaster, especially with a TV show coming, because they didn't know how good the TV show was going to be. They didn't know how big it was going to be. They might have been very confident in it, but they dropped it all in one day, which they are never going to do again because they saw how successful it was over that first 10-day period.
Oh yeah, no, they're gonna tease it out, or they should.
Oh yeah,
make it event television again.
So I don't think they dropped the ball on that just because they didn't have a good gauge for what a television series from a Bethesda Studios was or even could be.
But there's nothing wrong with the course correction though, and there's
nothing wrong. But also, that's the weird thing is Skyrim came first, and it is the higher selling game, I believe. It is company business-wise the thing that makes the most sense to do Elder Scrolls 6 first. But with a giant infusion of everything, at least the remaster, it sounds like they're going to do some more remasters. We'll read that article in just a second here. Or some second games as well. But it's a funky little, I guess, thing where there's a little bit of nuance where, I want to give them some leeway because they didn't know how good it was going to be. But also, if you're doing something at all, you want to have something a little.
I mean, you would think that there would be a synergy here, like if you've got a TV show that's basically a giant commercial for your IP coming out that's going to introduce your IP to millions of new people, new customers, you think that you'd have something ready, hot and piping on the stove, ready to offer them the second they get a taste of the TV show, and it just feels like they fumbled the bag. Yeah.
Well, the two things they gave us were cool for people that like them, but it was skins in Fallout Shelter, and then now you can play as a ghoul in Fallout 76.
Yeah. Which also they took their sweet time getting out too. That part. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on them real hard, but I mean, I do feel like that in the age of, you know, corporate synergy and marketing and everything else, you would think that they would have had something. I'm just so used to big IPs having such big events and having like 20 different things to fire at once whenever something big happens, that it just feels like they didn't have this ready to go. And it's kind of surprising that if they're going to spend as much as they did per episode. I mean, maybe they were gun shy because people have had multi-billion-dollar or, you know, multi-million-dollar flops, you know, and they were being cautious. But boy, I don't know.
That, I mean, Fallout. Sense.
Yeah, David. Yeah, that is what we're talking about. There are a few different Fallout projects in the works now. That's the latest news that we're discussing here. But it sounds like Fallout 5 is going to be 2030 something at the earliest, because we're looking at Elder Scrolls 6 coming out 27, 28, and then it's another 5-year development cycle after that for the next AAA title. On top of that, Bethesda, I think one of the biggest news that shook the video game industry within the last week was Microsoft shedding 9,100 jobs off of their Xbox team. That was, and apparently that's also only 4% of their workforce that works on Xbox. But what they're now talking about is how hardware is dead and how they're mostly going to drive people to Game Pass. That is directly from one of the creators or one of the main heads on the Xbox team. And now, while the Xbox team took a big haircut, Microsoft also did layoffs at the various game studios. The group that creates Forza took a 50% hit. Bethesda took a hit, so they're losing people.
Bethesda lost some people that have been there for 10, 12, 15 years. It was really sad. I'm a member. Actually, I'm wearing the unofficial Elder Scrolls wiki or fan page, Patreon, whatever it is. And they're really good about updating you just about different Bethesda things. And on Twitter, X, whatever the hell, on Threads, all the different places, they've been talking about it the last week or two as this has been coming out, and they've been kind of posting everybody that has been posting job applications online, saying, hey, we've had a happy, cushy job for 10, 12 years making video games and things that you've enjoyed and loved and have been part of your entire childhoods, growing up, your adulthoods, all these different things. And now they're just out of a job, out of the blue.
Yeah. And yeah, Peter, definitely the Subnautica 2 situation, which I just heard about yesterday, is insanity, where they killed an entire team, or they took out an entire team just to avoid paying them a performance bonus for getting the game done ahead of schedule. And then on top of that, Secular Monk, I gotta agree. I do feel like that they're now trying to go to digital leasing as opposed to ownership. And you see this in so many places. Apple Music does it, where you don't own your library, you just have to pay to access the library. All this kind of stuff, all this legal jargon, and so there's no actual ownership. It's concerning that we're paying in for service as they're turning what used to be property into service, and then having complete control over access to it. It's like paying this is the reason why I still maintain the DVD collection. This is the reason why I buy all my D&D books in hardcover, as well as have the D&D Beyond subscription. Like there's certain elements of, like, if I have the physical object in my hand, they can't take it away from me. So,
especially something in the book world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the whole quote, the famous quote of "You will own nothing and be happy." I didn't think it'd apply to our freaking movies and everything else. It, I guess, is going to apply to more and more as the world becomes more and more digital and things of the sort. I can't speak sort. I read the word surf and I'm like, yep, we're becoming digital serfs. Yep. Like, it's a great point.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of owning the stuff, not owning the stuff that I pay good money for. But I think, yeah, this is software, and they talk about software as a service. That now this is just content as a service. This is why I've download. If I have an ebook, I make sure I download a hard copy of the file, so that's on my hard drive.
Yeah,
I don't know.
PDF.
It's a brave new world. Very different than I think what people have come to expect, because and I think that this is the reason why creators having control over their own stuff is an incredibly important thing, having a say over it, as opposed to I follow a lot of people in TV and movies on industry folks on socials, and the folks who talked about how they poured their entire lives into creating and all their energy into creating a TV show or a cartoon or other content, putting it out there. They finally got it greenlit, they finally got it made, and then they find out that their dream project either is released for a short amount of time and then gets shelved forever because for whatever reason, or it never even sees the light of day at all and just winds up on a shelf. That's just like so disheartening, because the studio feels like it's not a good idea to have this out and available now, for whatever reason. Like how Warner Brothers spends money on movies that they never release and then take the tax loss on it, or it takes the tax write-off on it.
That's the one movie I will always defend. I don't want to defend Zaslav doing that, but Batgirl's the one movie I'll defend on that, because there was no good word of that. If your movie is going to come out and most definitely not make money, and it was like that's just such a weird little thing. Tax write-offs.
They release bad movies all the time. Of course, in an attempt to recoup money. So why is Batgirl any different, is my question. If it's another terrible movie going out there, they were already like the DCEU was already dead at that point, practically. It wasn't going to get any deader.
No, but I understand the hesitation from trying to say, hey, especially when he was the new CEO at that point. And okay, we've had about 4 regime changes at the DC section of Warner Brothers in the last about 4 years too. It's saying, okay, well, obviously throwing crap at a wall and hoping something sticks is not the way to do it. Let's try to make something pertinent. I don't know if the Flash and everything like that was necessarily the pertinence that we expected them to like lean towards after that necessarily.
Everybody makes bad choices.
Yes.
I don't. But again, like if they're gonna put the Flash out there, why not Batgirl? I'm just saying, let's. Yeah, I mean, why is that the bridge too far?
It just didn't end up making a whole bunch of sense. It started off making some sense, and they didn't make it end up making a whole bunch of sense. Because if you're gonna do something, be consistent.
I don't know. Having worked with people who work at Warner Brothers for years and years back in my previous life in toy development, I just know that Warner Brothers is a hot mess, and it always has been, and it seems like it always will be. So yeah.
If it wasn't a specifically Fallout and Microsoft and Bethesda kind of day, Warner Brothers gaming is a whole nother can of worms.
Oh my God, yeah, no, I could go ham on WB forever, but that's not what we're here for today. So
no, not today.
Steering it back towards Fallout, we should actually get back into the waters for what we advertised here. Let's see, we talked about the Fringe, we talked about my plays, we talked about my theaters. Now we're talking about why Warner Brothers sucks. Now we're talking about this is a Fallout podcast. We should get back on.
We got a little Fallout 5 and some Elder Scrolls in there. All the people
little bit.
And such. But with the Fallout 5 stuff, it does at least seem. I guess we don't have to like really go through the article because we can kind of just summarize it for you. So Fallout 5, like Greg was saying a second ago, is probably looking like it's going to be closer to that 2030 range, if not even a little bit. Hopefully 2030 range. Let's not manifest anything later,
Yeah, no, I think we see it. I think we see it by 2033 at the latest. I really do. But that's still like it's 2020. That's 8 years from now. That's a long ass time off, So
that makes the most sense to me as well, because 2028 is probably Elder Scrolls 6 by the looks of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, they say that they've got multiple projects in development, though. So, Harris, what do you think are the other projects in development? Because they didn't really give us much more information other than, hey, we're working on things.
Yeah, the actual quote, real quick, was that all of these articles are being made out of. What's her first name? Jordan Midler, VGC, said there are multiple Fallout projects in development, including, as far as I'm aware, the one you've all been waiting for, which is, of course, Fallout 5, which we were just talking about. Obviously, with the success of Oblivion Remaster, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas remasters make the most sense, real quick. I would not be surprised if that is an angle that they take, especially because they can outsource those to another company. Now that Obsidian is done with Avowed, and Outer Worlds 2 is right up next to done. It's supposed to be out, is it 2026 or 2027? I don't remember, but one way or another, it is on the verge of being ready. That's the same team that kind of made New Vegas originally. So, what? While the team that made Avowed is not making Outer Worlds 2, or I guess some of them probably have been moved over to that project, it doesn't seem like Avowed is going to get a whole bunch of legs and a bunch of additions later on. So if that's the case, maybe send some of that team to start working on a remaster, and maybe whenever Outer Worlds 2 is said and done, New Vegas 2?
I mean, one could hope. One can hope, and then the question becomes, do you think that they can actually capture lightning in a bottle twice? I mean, that's the real question at that point, is do you think that they could do you think that they could, recapture that magic that they had with the first one? Because the first one seemed to be that right alchemy of just like desperation and needing to get it done within a deadline, and then still just like managing to overachieve in almost every measurable category, So just in terms of like it had the right amount of it just engaged people almost perfectly, and they're calling it one of the best video games of all time, so like, how do you follow that up? That then becomes the big question. So, but
that's where my brain goes to a fork, because they did follow it up really freaking well with Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds was dope. It's Fallout in space, essentially. Like it is the same vein, I guess, just in a little bit of a different avenue. But the most recent game they made was Avowed, which I had a lot more fun with than I think most people did. But it's not very well looked upon. And the gameplay was subpar at best. Outer Worlds is infinitely better gameplay. And that game came out 7 years ago at this point. I don't know if New Vegas 2 would be closer to Outer Worlds, and hopefully what Outer Worlds 2 is going to end up, or closer to that Avowed kind of thing. If it is closer to that Avowed, I could see a lot of people being angry. If it's closer to the Outer Worlds, which seemingly it would be, I think we might be in for something cool.
Okay.
But that
interesting.
Obviously all speculation. I've been playing Yahtzee.
I gotta respect the classics, Peter. Absolutely.
Always. The game that I think I've seen a couple people talk about it. Mr. Matty Plays talked about it, and he's always got some good Bethesda news. Which I don't think a whole bunch of people are talking about it, but I think is the most applicable, is a Fallout Shelter 2. Because Fallout Shelter is their highest grossing Fallout game ever. Mostly because of skins and microtransactions and stuff like that. So
games with microtransactions, it's stupid how much money they make. It's ridiculous how much money they make, especially for what you have to invest in them.
And Fallout Shelters, I can't play it for long, but every time I do play it, I'll play it for about 4 hours straight, and then say, like, I'm going to delete this whole thing, and then I'll just eventually start it again, like 6 or 8 months later, or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I kind of get I kind of rediscover it and get obsessed with it for a few days every few months, and then move on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, I could see a Fallout Shelter 2 or major updates and overhauls to it. I feel like that now with DLCs and patching and remasters and stuff like that, we might see something instead of like a whole cloth sequel, see massive overhauls and upgrades to the existing one. that might be the more realistic path for them to follow. I do think that we will see 3 and 4 remastered and possibly a New Vegas remaster. Those are probably the things that they're talking about when they're talking about multiple.
You think they're going to remaster 4 already?
Well, I mean, they technically already have with the next gen console patch. So, I mean, that's about as close as you're going to get, I suppose. Maybe not 4, but 3 in New Vegas, I could totally see getting remasters, and I'd be first in line for a Fallout 3 remaster, absolutely. Because I've that's actually one of the ones I've never played. But now the other interesting one is, do you think that they would go back and do 1 and 2? Do you think that they would do them? I mean, because we know that there are folks who were working on doing massive DLC sized overhauls using the Fallout 4 engine, where they're re-rendering, the Vault 13 project, stuff like that. These guys who were doing these, massive adaptations to 3D. Do you think that we would get like a full proper conversion, or do you think that we might just get like a remaster of the isometric?
I think they would want to do the full proper version of it.
Yeah, I would hope so. It would be, I mean, it could be really interesting to see that. You got to wonder what the cost benefit analysis looks like on that, I suppose. But, it would really, it's tough because we're talking about the Bethesda games being the remasters, and I know that the original code to Fallout was lost, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Tim Kaine.
Yeah, scrapped. Mm-hmm. Somebody lost it. Yeah. So, they'd have to basically, they'd have to do it from scratch if they were going to re-render it anyhow, or render it in as a first-person shooter style game as opposed to isometric. But it would just it kind of sucks that those kind of feel like the lost games in a way, unless you can get them, you can still play them via Steam and stuff like that, but they just feel like the forgotten ones that are never going to get the upgrades because they're not Bethesda titles. So let's see. David, Fallout TV series being such a big hit, why haven't they started on a Skyrim series? I think that between Game of Thrones and Rings of Power and the D&D series that's coming out, maybe they're feeling like it's a little too saturated right now.
And
maybe
even that, Skyrim and Rings of Power, Game of Thrones and Rings of Power aren't even close to the level of fantasy that Skyrim is. Both of those are fantasy light compared to Skyrim. Skyrim I wouldn't say it doubles the budget of either one of those, but you're going to have a Game of Thrones budget plus a little extra, simply for the amount of magic that has to go on, the environments that you have to be put in. A Skyrim series very well may be the most expensive series ever made, because it's something that you wouldn't necessarily want to do as much CGI for. It's all fantasy stuff. You want that physicality that Game of Thrones has, that physicality that The Witcher even has, and that's not even a great series. Like, Rings of Power is not even considered a great series, but it has that physicality and the tangibility of it, which is nice. If they didn't have that, I don't think they'd be able to do it. And that is a tall glass of water to order.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I think maybe that might be the next step. Maybe if once Fallout wraps up, maybe then they'll be able to turn around and do Elder Scrolls. But I don't know. I feel like that Fallout hits a niche that a niche genre that nobody else is really doing at the moment. No, I mean there's Silo and there's a few other shows that are definitely post-apocalyptic, but not in the way that Fallout does with the 50s idealized Americana and the jingoism and everything else going on, all the symbolism that they have.
Well, and just that black, dank, dark humor. Everybody else might be post-apocalyptic, but they don't make it a good time to be there either.
Yeah, exactly. There is that twisted sense of humor that Fallout brings that nobody else does. So I think Fallout occupies a niche that other similar shows don't. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why that's the easy one to greenlight, is that it has its own unique stamp on things. Whereas Elder Scrolls, again, with Rings of Power, with D&D, with, there's a lot of big, sword and sorcery and big dragon shows out there already. It might be tougher for it to stand out.
Well, and you just brought up even the probably more pertinent example of the three is the Dungeons and Dragons movie. That probably the lower budget version of something like Skyrim that you could do, which is totally just as fantasy as Skyrim. Like, you would have to have that level of fantasy in there. And Dungeons and Dragons is something beloved by so many across the globe, and it didn't make a whole bunch of money. It made, I think, it broke.
It didn't, but and what pisses me off is that the movie came out right after Wizards of the Coast shot themselves in the foot big time and created massive PR blunders that created a backlash. And the number one response to the backlash, or the number one fan response, was, "Don't go support the movie. They don't deserve your money." You know? So, and you can't say that didn't impact the box office on that, which is a bummer, because now it means that we're not getting a D&D movie, Honor Among Thieves 2. And Honor Among Thieves, I went and saw it. I didn't give a shit. I went and saw the movie and I loved it. I thought it was outstanding.
It was a very, I wouldn't say very, it was a generic movie in a lot of ways, and it is run of the mill in a lot of ways. But oh my God, it was so much fun. It was everybody was having a blast. It was the perfect kind of like popcorn blockbuster in that sense.
Well, and Honor Among Thieves is one of those movies that, it's a fantasy movie, but at the same time, it had the sense of humor and the antics of a typical D&D game. And you had the OP D&D, or the DM self-insert character with the paladin. You had the antics and the stupid plans and the other crazy shit. You had the puzzles getting ruined immediately and then having to figure out a workaround. You had so many tropes of a proper D&D game, put into the movie. The writers understood it, and also mechanically speaking, I was watching the fights and going, "Oh, she just blew her concentration check. Oh, he just failed his save. Oh, he made that. Oh, that's a critical success. Oh, that's a nat 1." Like, you're watching it, and I could see the table functioning and like being like, "Oh, this is now suddenly I could see everybody sitting around the table talking about this, and this is what they're imagining." And that is a feeling that you want a D&D movie to have, and that nobody else has been able to perfect, And I thought that they really had they got the alchemy right on that where it's a proper amount of seasoning for it, but not so much that you see the strings behind the screen being pulled, and not so little that it feels like it has nothing to do with the game itself. Like, I thought that they balanced it just right, where the rules of the world are present, but not overbearing. And so Wizards fucked themselves and pissed everybody off with their OGL scandals and pulling the licensing for third-party content, and then trying to hijack profits from everybody because Daddy Hasbro, this was like their one successful franchise, and they had to be able to pay their owners bonuses somehow. Yeah, well, I mean, when they're cutting everybody else, then they start, or when they're cutting all their other departments, and then bilking their one financially successful franchise for every dime that they can get, and now talking about going into microtransactions and things like that for all of their IPs going forward. It's just it feels gross. It feels gross, and you don't want to interact with it. So and of course, the fan backlash was swift and vociferous. And the timing couldn't have been worse for the movie to come out at that point, because that was what took the brunt of the backlash. And now, as a result, Hollywood is very hesitant to do it. And I keep hearing about the TV shows being in development. I haven't seen much more than just a few names getting thrown around. And I'm still throwing myself out there for consideration to create and run an American Horror Story style anthology series where each season is a different mini campaign, culminating in a movie that brings all six the characters from all 6 seasons together into some amazing, like, tying it all together, multiverse spanning, universe saving story. It didn't do, and that's what we're talking about, Monk. That's what we're talking about, Monk. We're talking about how the movie suffered, I think, from the fan backlash over, WotC managed to alienate a lot of their player base immediately before the movie came out, and the movie bore the brunt as a result. Because that movie, the movie did introduce new players, just like Critical Role did, not to the same degree. It did like enhance the brand awareness globally, but the movie was never going to pull in new fans. The movie was meant for players. And when Wizards of the Coast alienates the players and pisses them all off right before the movie comes out, the movie took the hit. And I mean, I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena, and it already is microtransaction-y, Here, like all they need to do is start setting it up where you can just, they already have it set up where you could buy singles online, but just access the full library, and that's another one where you're not paying to own anything, you're paying to license access to something,
which I refuse to do for Arena. Particularly, I have spent enough money on freaking cards, not Arena. Nope. I
don't spend real money on Magic Arena. I mostly am just doing it to play with the new card, the free packs of the new cards when they come out. So I'm doing pretty good with my Final Fantasy VII set so far. So
we played with Matt last night, and he wiped the floor with us with Final Fantasy.
He was telling me about that. He's got a Sephiroth deck that apparently is just wrecking shit. So
that was not fun to play against. For our Doctor Who people, the most Doctor Who I know is I was playing with the Daleks deck last night, and I was also falling asleep about halfway through the game, so that didn't help at all. I was the first target. I was the first one out. I'm surprised, but that's what happens when you sleep. But nothing else was going against it. That Final Fantasy's winning.
I've got a Chocobo Landfall deck that I managed to put together for free, and I've just been having a blast with it. I got like a 40-60 win, a 40% win rate with it, so that's good enough for me to keep playing.
Oh hell yeah!
So
too many new decks. Yeah, type. So many.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I stopped buying the cardboard crack when Mirage came out in like 1998, 97. When did Mirage come out as a set?
I have no idea. I started last year. Oops.
Okay. I mean, I played first official block structure. Oh, 96. Wow, I stopped playing Magic the Gathering in 1996. So 30 years ago, I stopped playing.
3 years before I was born.
At least, oh my God. Oh, way to make me feel old, Harris. Yeah, fuck you, dude. No, I started with Fallen Empires, and I got, which was like 94. Fallen Empires was 94. And then I stopped buying cards around, I want to say it was Mirage. Yeah, I think so. Because it was around, or Visions. So I remember I played through, I stopped at the Wrath block. Because it was just like, it was too expensive for me when I was in high school. So I had a couple of really good decks, and then that was about it. I had a burn deck that was a Llanowar Elves and Fireball burn deck, and I missed that shit. That was fun. Okay, so Peter, I see you too are a man of culture and refinement. Yep. I miss that. I do miss my old decks and my old cards, but I still have all of my my cards for Star Trek, the CCG. I had Star Trek and I had Star Wars as well, and I played. I still have all my Star Trek cards because I was just an obsessed fanboy. So yeah.
The good thing is I'm a crazy bastard that is also far too ADD to really get into deck building, because I know if I do, I'm going to spend way more money than way more money that I should be already spending, and I have already spent on this stuff. So I'm not doing that. I just do the Commander precons because Commander's awesome. We do have 4 out of 4 of the Fallout Commander decks that eventually we might need to get old Matt set up on a camera.
We should actually, we should set up a stream and play the Fallout decks on camera. That'd be fun. I'd have a good time with that.
You ought to come check out the new place, because we actually have like the right setup for stuff like that as well. We have a big
dope.
Station. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe when I'm back from Scotland, I'll swing on by. We can set up a stream and play. I think it'd be a good time.
Talk about Europe, which is gonna be.
There you go. That'll be great. Yeah, I think. So I think that it is a bummer to see that 5 is going to be off, and it just, again, I feel like that if they have this great synergy and they have all these new people coming in, I suppose that they think that they can keep pumping new content into 76 and get people engaged that way. And then with 4 being updated next gen consoles, that's a great entry point and get people hooked there. If they do the remasters of 3 in New Vegas, they can keep, like, you know, spoon feeding the same stuff back to people over and over again long enough to tide them over until 5 comes out. But it's like, literally, if they wait till 2032, it's gonna be like 17 years between major installments, and that's huge. That's a long ass time. Oh my god, Netrunner. Yeah, I remember Netrunner. That's before you weren't even Harris, you weren't even a zygote at that point. Yeah, that Netrunner is old.
What's a Netrunner?
That was a cyberpunk CCG that the guys who created Magic created immediately after Magic. Yeah.
Is it active at all to any degree?
No, I don't think so. Netrunner. Wow. It was created by Richard Garfield, introduced in April 96, produced until 1999. And it is the same setting as the Cyberpunk 2020 RPG.
Oh, it is.
Wow. Yeah, and then apparently Fantasy Flight Games did Android Netrunner, a new card game based on Netrunner under license from Wizards in 2012. And it has been run by, and since 2019, the game's been run by the nonprofit game publisher Null Signal Games. That's crazy. Wow. All right. That's fun. So the Netrunner base set is 374 cards. The expansion decks are about 150 each. And there have been a ton of fan-made expansions and released online. Some have been sanctioned for tournament play. That's dope. Okay, now I'm really curious. I kind of want to.
So we're starting a Netrunner club.
This is my this is the hole that I'm going to go down now for the rest of the day. This is the internet rabbit hole I'm going to chase.
I petition San Fernando Valley Netrunner clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of my critics, such as Inquest and Scry. Oh my god, I bought Inquest and Scry when I was in high school. Oh man. Yep. All right. Yeah,
it's gonna be one of those.
I never bought Netrunner because I was spending all my money on Magic and Star Trek and the Star Wars CCG at the time too. Decipher was getting a shit ton of my money back then. Yes, we do like chasing the rabbits around here. It is true. I do like the rabbits. I played Lenny in Of Mice and Men, and I do like the rabbits. George.
I want to get one of those fake top hats that has a little fake rabbit, not a fake top, just a top hat that has a little fake rabbit in it, and I just want to keep it back here somewhere.
Pull the rabbit out of the hat. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's one of those days.
I love it.
Which is every day, because there's always a good rabbit hole to chase. But speaking of chasing rabbit holes, if I had to chase a roadmap for Fallout let's just say 2030, let's be awesome and say 2031 is going to be Fallout 5 or 2032.
Okay.
We'll push it up here.
Are ambitious. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, the ambition is just beginning here. This is I'm trying to manifest a crazy roadmap, which is doable because Microsoft is going to, and Bethesda is release out the remakes and remasters to other companies to help. Here we go. You ready?
Okay, let's hear this prediction. All right, let's go.
It's a very hopeful and wishful thinking prediction. But nonetheless, we're trying to Nostradamus this. Fallout Shelter 2, as well as Fallout 76 updates, will be the first thing, and that will be the rest of this year, probably for Fallout 76 and next year. And then Fallout Shelter 2 is something that they could get out within a year if they really dedicated the time to. And that'll
get licensed out to some third-party mobile company. That won't take anything off of Bethesda's plate. Yeah, or that won't add anything to Bethesda's plate. Yeah,
and that's just extra cash to help fund all these other things. Hopefully. And this is where the gray area of my manifestation here is popping in, is the Fallout 1 and 2 remasters. I don't know who the hell they get to actually do that project, but they probably will not do it in-house. So why not do something similar like you did with Oblivion? Of course, it's not just like, oh, old engine and toss it on Unreal 5. This is going to have to be remake everything in a new engine rather than translate the programming or the coding, I guess. That being said, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas remasters should be out in, let's say, 2025 right now? Let's say 2028 and 2029. And by 2020, I almost said
telling me you think that they're not already, that you think they're just starting work on these like tomorrow?
I think they've already started some work.
I think they have already too. And I mean, I think that they're going to get dropped with no fanfare, just like the Oblivion remaster did.
If that's the case, I think we could see Fallout 3 or New Vegas, whichever one's done first, by 2027. I'm just giving myself a little leeway, just a little extra room.
Yeah, sort of like how I said Q1 2026 for Fallout Season 2, and I missed it by that much. Yeah.
And they snuck it in beforehand.
And they snuck it in. Yeah, they snuck it in at the last second. I love it.
All the fingers are crossed.
Yeah.
But if they're able to get those remasters out, I could see them trying to say, okay, maybe 2027 for a New Vegas or a 3 remaster. 2028, we actually get Elder Scrolls 6. 2029 is the other one, whether it be Fallout 3 or New Vegas remaster.
Okay.
And then let's say that Fallout 5 is that far away, and it is that 2032 or 2033 kind of deal. They do have 2 years between that, and that will have given them 4 to 5 years to have worked on a Fallout 1 and a Fallout 2 remaster, and those would be great to lead into a Fallout 5. And by then, we would be in Season 6 or at least Season 5 of the TV show, and all of this stuff would be correlating as well as they could hope it could. We already have elements of 3, 4, and New Vegas within the show, and Fallout 1 and 2 within the show itself. So,
yeah, true.
Make it all make sense. Make it full circle, Bethesda and Microsoft, please. That's my very wishful, hopeful thinking manifestation there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I don't think that timeline is that far off, and I think we will see 3 before we see New Vegas, because they're probably going to go work from the back of the catalog first. What's further back, bring that forward, because people have had time to miss it more. Although I think arguably New Vegas would be the more popular of the 2, so that'll be the bigger hit. But you probably want something really strong to lead into 5. And it's also
pertinent. It's also really pertinent to the show.
True.
Very yeah.
So which do you think we'll see first? Do you think we'll see the remaster for 3? Or do you think we'll see New Vegas first?
I don't know. That's
when
we're
make a choice, Harris. Yeah, make a choice. We're gonna make a call, and I'll take the opposite bet. Okay.
There goes the clock. I just dropped Sunset Sarsaparilla.
Didn't you just get that?
Question. There's got to be something. We're gonna flip something.
I'm with you, the Stanleys. I think it's going to be 3, and then I think it's going to be New Vegas. I think they're going to do it in chronological order.
That makes the most sense to me. But I could see them trying to say, "Hey, New Vegas is what Season 2 of Fallout's about. It probably is going to be something about what Season 3 is still."
Yeah, but we've already shown that we've already seen that they don't care about tying in with the show as much.
That's true.
I mean, yeah. So I think that they would probably want to have the more popular of the 2 titles to release sooner, closer to 5, to keep everybody, keep the fire stoked and the passions hot. So
that would also make sense.
Dude, think it'll be VR. That would be dope if it was, dude. I would love to have like a VR helmet and be doing Fallout with that. That would be incredible.
That is a good way.
Modest Traveler, I disagree with you. I do think that they will, because I think there's money to be made there, and I think that they know it. That the popularity dictates that people would buy the same game over again if it was updated to next gen, especially if they put in some of the cut content that everybody's been wondering about. If they actually took the time to kind of shave off the rough edges and really make it really polish it up, I think that if there's gold in them, there are hills. And I think that they'll go for it, especially knowing that Fallout, especially if they can outsource it, especially if they know that Fallout 5 is 7 years away. So,
well, that's the thing. Like what we've just been saying, Traveler. If they don't have to physically make the other Fallout remasters and so on and so forth, Fallout Shelter, Fallout 76 editions themselves, that gives them time to actually just go make the new one. So it doesn't like negate the other, if that makes sense.
Peter, interesting observation. VR seems to have died a death. I think that this iteration, but I think it's due for a generational upgrade. That's got to be more than just helmets. Oh, Metal Gear Solid, so good.
I barely ever played them. That's what I was just typing. I was like, I barely played them, but the little bits I played are so fun.
I played the first couple for the for the PlayStation and loved it. All good, Traveler. All good.
Yeah. But no, that's the same thing that we were just thinking. Like, one doesn't negate the other right now. I think the biggest hamper on any of this is the layoffs, if I'm being honest. The
100%.
Human people to actually put these things together, which scares me for the lack of
because
humanity.
Now they're trying to replace. Well, and now they're saying that it's all just going to be people replaced by AI. And that I have so many thoughts. It's like, if the corporations are employing AI instead of employing people, then this disrupts the natural economic cycle of where money goes, because people have to get paid to have money to spend. And if people don't get paid to have money to spend, how do the companies make money at that point? Unless they're just trading it back and forth amongst each other, which disenfranchises the lower classes. And so I'm sure there are smarter economists and people out there that are smarter than me that can diagnose and articulate about this and pontificate about it ad nauseum, well beyond me. But I think that this is, you have to keep the humanity in labor, and AI has to be a tool, not a replacement. And this is why and actually this is the perfect segue to talk about real quick. I'm actually gonna have to go in a couple of minutes here because I have I have my team coming online to help me with the theater build out. I have to go work with them. I do think that the AI is going to have a tremendous impact once the full potential of it is realized, as opposed to it being just a large language model that functions on algorithm.
Are we in the third industrial revolution?
I think we're on the precipice of it. I really do. I think that this is going to be this is going to upend the table in a lot of ways potentially. But I am very glad to hear and report that SAG-AFTRA has come to, or the new video game agreement has been ratified by SAG-AFTRA, and it does include protections for voice performers against AI, regulating that if somebody's likeness and voice is being used, they have a say in that. What I also really liked is the idea that when a SAG performer, or when a SAG performer goes on strike, their likeness is also struck, or is also on strike. Yeah, so people can't be digitally replaced by themselves if they're striking. Their digital likeness also goes on strike too, which I'm like, that's brilliant and utterly necessary. And also, they have a say in how their likeness is used, which is a big deal. And they managed to keep it so that it is not a replacement, but it is a tool. How, they have a say in how their likeness is used, but more importantly, it allows for somebody to use a AI Greg to generate spontaneous and novel encounters via large language model, but not replace the performer completely. And that using AI me gets me a licensing fee for the use of my likeness. I think it's, Peter, I tend to agree that this could be too little too late, but I like these protections over what they got in the SAG agreement with the studios. And I think that this lays a blueprint for stuff going forward.
I feel like this is a necessary thing to have happen before the next round of discussions and agreements.
It lays a blueprint for what's gonna go forward. especially because AI filmmaking is becoming a thing. Barf. And it's getting better and getting more refined every day. It's proceeding at about the level that I thought it would, which means I think that the current SAG agreement is going to be largely useless and impotent or outdated already really quickly. So that's yeah. Oh, you think we're getting paid for this, Peter? That's funny.
We ain't that fancy, unless you want to send some super chat. I don't think we even can right now, so throw that out. We'll get that too.
Don't. Yeah, I mean, if you want a super chat, so I could buy a cup of coffee once a year, that'd be great. No, we do this for the love of the game.
We do that for the love of the game too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I got projects y'all can invest in. So, anyhow, yeah, I am. I'm very happy to see the and also a 15% increase in pay with also bumps every couple of years to Starbucks. Oh, we bougie now. With 3% bumps every year until the next round of negotiations in 3 years. I'm really glad to see what happened in this agreement. I voted yes for it, and I thought that this is good. And I'm very glad to see my brothers and sisters in the voice acting industry, especially with video games, be able to get back to work, knowing that they have a good contract in place to protect them and their rights as workers and protect their livelihoods. Because voice acting is actually incredibly difficult art. I don't think people have an appreciation for the amount of physical stress and strain it is to be able to do this over and over and over again. So, yeah.
It's. I mean, I've had to think about it the last couple of weeks because, especially, I've been doing voice acting classes for 4 months now, and
it's tough, man. It's tough. People don't have an appreciation for it. It's like how hard it is and how much it is.
And I've always enjoyed it and played with it, but now that I'm actually getting into it and truly thinking about the little things that add up, I'm like, okay, I can't go yelling over here. I can't go get too crazy on a stream or something like that because I need to keep the voice because
you can't damage your instrument. You don't want to drink, you don't want to smoke. You gotta. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you have to be really aware of in terms of protecting yourself and your voice. I think one of the scariest things I ever heard of to ever happen to a voice actor was Sam Riegel getting fucking throat cancer. You want to talk about the worst kind of cancer for the guy to get. Throat cancer is for a voice actor. That's just the worst. Thank God he, had the surgery and recovered and is now working again. But man, talk about hitting you where you live, And Peter, I agree with you with your point above about live performance, weathering the storm better than most. I 100% agree with you, which is why I can now justify my entire last 20 something years of Hollywood career being mostly in live theater, because I just predicted this shit from a long time ago. And now I am set up to be the king of live theater in Los Angeles when the studio system collapses and nobody trusts AI or wants AI anymore, and they want something real live performance directly in front of them. AI is not going to take theater jobs.
We were telling you about the manifestation earlier.
Yeah,
we were Nostradamusing. Greg has been Nostradamusing for a long time. We're just trying to gather some of that Tinkerbell fairy dust off the Nostradamus stuff over here. I want to fly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tarantino going live theater for. Oh, I didn't hear that. He's writing a play. Oh, good for him.
Yeah, he's been talking a lot about live stuff.
Yeah, that's dope.
Monk, Chris Carr, and her husband have been my voice acting coaches for the last 4 months. They are quite excellent, and anybody that needs to go do little tune-ups or get some good intro into advanced classes, they have great stuff.
Love that.
But yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I got to head out actually. So I got cats that need to be fed, and I've got to get down to start building my new theater. Hopefully the air conditioning is working now, so I can get back to work on that. So I think now's a good time to bow out. But Harris, I think we'll be back. I'm going to do my best. I think next in 2 weeks we'll be doing that environmental storytelling episode. Finally, I'm very excited to jump on that. Talking about the use of environmental storytelling in Bethesda games and specifically in Fallout, of course, but I'm sure there's some Elder Scrolls Oblivion and other Elder Scrolls references and things like that. But how it's, how environmental storytelling goes all the way back to one of the first moments in the Fallout franchise with This Is Ed, Ed is Dead. Definitely, I think there's some fascinating techniques to discuss. And we actually have a game to play with the chat for next episode. Ooh. So I have a game. Would you like to play a game? It'll be.
This is time. Where Nostradamus turns back in. Where Greg the Ghoul went into Nostradamus. Now Nostradamus turns back into Dungeon Master Greg.
Yeah, or just Jigsaw.
Oh, okay. So, here we go.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. When the beeping shot collars all arrive in your doorstep, guys, please just remember to put them on right before the episode starts. Okay. It'll be great.
I was gonna say I wear a straitjacket just so you can't cut my limbs off, but if you put a collar around me, I'm already screwed. So I'm gonna veto the straitjacket idea.
Okay, I think that's probably safe. But I know where you live, Harris. You're not getting out of this one alive. All right.
Do you know the new one though? I've moved, sir.
Oh shit. Okay, fair. I'll just talk to Matt.
Not very far. Not very
far. Matt will sell you out in 5 minutes for a dime bag. So yeah. Oh my God, wrong foot. Hot. All righty, guys. We will we'll see you all in about 2 weeks or so. Okay, y'all take care. Take care of each other. And as we all know, in the wild wasteland, just stay frosty, folks. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. See y'all Sunday. Patreon is probably not happening tomorrow. Farscape Patreon may or may not happen tomorrow. We got to talk about that, Sarah and I. And then Sunday we'll see y'all for Sci-Fi Sundays.
And Searching. Monk will check out Searching. We promise. Thanks for the recommendation. All right, take care, y'all. See y'all soon.
Adios.